Hello folks and welcome into TK Power Sports. Do you have a lot of people and stuff to move and you need to get through a place like this out here in the forest? Well, this is one of the best ways to do that. This is the Can-Am Defender Max Limited. And right now, we're gonna put it to the test. So in this video, we're gonna hit the trail and talk about performance. I'll sit inside there and crank up the air conditioning. We'll see how cool it actually gets. And then I'm gonna load up that bed with Payload and see how it performs with some weight on it. So make sure you stay tuned. Well, let's start with the numbers so you understand how big this thing actually is. Overall length here comes in at 158 inches. Width is measured at 65 inches, while overall height is 81 inches. And Can-Am says that the estimated dry weight is 2,466 pounds. Talking about tow capacity, you're at 2,500 pounds. Overall payload capacity is 1,225 pounds. Fuel capacity is 10.6 gallons, that's 40 liters. And total occupant capacity inside is 6 people. Let's do a quick walk around, but you should know we have a full in-depth walk around video here on the channel. So if you really want all the details, go watch that one. This is gonna be a lot quicker, but let's get into it. So this is the limited model. I mentioned that. That means it gets all of the features and a ton of stuff from the factory, like this big bumper up front, that worn winch down there. And then obviously you're gonna notice the full cab, and this is real glass there, no plastic. I appreciate that. When it comes to suspension, you're getting 12 inches of travel here in the front and the rear, and a big set of 30-inch tires. Now we'll crawl inside in just a second. Right now I want to come back here and show you what's underneath the dump bed, which is the HD10 powertrain. That is a 976 cc V-twin engine, making just a hair over 80 horsepower. And we're gonna need all of those horsepower to move this big unit here today. Now I showed you, you do have the fully dumping bed, sort of the traditional style tailgate back here. There is one hard tie down point in each corner of the bed. And then you get these cutouts up in the walls where you can put in dividers, you can put in different Can-Am accessories. Plus there's some little bucket cutouts up there for if you need to haul buckets around. Now we're gonna load up some rubber in here a little later on. So yes, we'll really talk about bed capacity in a second. But for now, I wanna hop in and hit the trail and really see how this thing handles. And here we are driving now, folks. Now we're gonna hit the trail and get some speed in just a second, but I wanna come run over our new offset mounds here and just see how the four-wheel drive system works. So I've got it in 4x4 right now, but neither one of the differentials is locked. And one thing I really like here is the rear differential is selectable. A lot of side-by-sides and ATVs, the rear is just locked up permanently and then you can select the front locker. But here in this Defender Max Limited, I can select both differentials. I really like that. Now, the reason we have these mounts is to test the diff lockers. So I'm assuming we're gonna need at least one of them, but let's find out. Now we did build these for trucks, which generally have better articulation than side-by-sides too. But once again, that's why we do testing, to see how it makes it through here. And you know what? I'll give the machine credit here because I wasn't thinking. It just said, hey man, go into low gear. And it's absolutely right. When you're doing things like this at slow speeds and you want to get that torque up, you do want to be in low. So now I'm in low. Thank you, Can-Am. It's nice sometimes when your machines are smarter than you are. Okay, and I'm getting light here. Oh, nice. And it's spinning, but I can feel it transferring power to the wheel that needed it. And we're gonna get another low traction moment right here. Oh, nice, Can-Am. And there's gonna be one more here. So just for argument's sake, because it is doing it, now let me show you what this would look like if I was fully locked up. So there, now I'm fully locked, rear and front. And here's why diff lockers matter, because you saw how much I had to slip. Now watch. The thing just creeps over there. That's why diff lockers matter, because if you don't use them, it was actually doing a good job getting the power where I needed it, but you're still going to chew up the trail underneath you. So if you want to go into an obstacle, do the least amount of trail damage, and have the most secure feeling, you want to go in fully locked up. Now, one of the downsides is the turning radius. Oh, it does not want to turn because it's fully locked up. Even in my hands, I can feel the amount of torque it takes to turn the front end. Now let me unlock it. So unlock that, unlock my front diff. Now I'm fully unlocked and I'm in two-wheel drive, which is essentially going to be one-wheel drive to the rear, because now it's just acting as an open diff. And my turning radius is suddenly better, but it's still not very good. I mean, this vehicle has a massive wheelbase. I've started to call it the school bus of the forest because it's just so dang big. And there's trade-offs, right? You want the size to haul so many people and so much stuff, but then when you try to do tight maneuvers, yeah, you're just not gonna be able to do tight maneuvers. So in one-wheel drive with everything unlocked, it's turning okay, but just keep in mind, it's a big vehicle, long wheelbase, bad turning radius. All right, folks, now it's time to find out how fun this thing can actually be, so let's rip it. I'm in two-wheel drive. Power feels good off the line, man. It's not a rocket ship. It's not crazy fast, don't get me wrong. This is still a big, heavy side-by-side, but for the size of it, no complaints with the power. And then the first thing I noticed is how good the suspension is, man. 12 inches of travel in the front and the rear. And I mean, I'm mobbing this trail at 35, 40 miles per hour, and it's soaking it up. Absolutely soaking it up. Here's a little hit. Oh yeah, nothing. Amazing. And again, I think it's just this perception I have, and I think most people have, of it's this big, heavy vehicle. I'm not going to be able to hit things at high speeds, but oh my goodness, I am absolutely ripping it, and it's pretty dang good. Now here we are up the hydro line in the mud, so let's go for it. Four-wheel drive. Now there's not a lot of mud here right now, granted. It's been pretty flippin' dry. We have had some rain though, so here we are. Oh yeah, that mud's getting kind of deep. Ooh, a little bit of spin there, a little bit of struggle, but pretty much no problem. And once again, power prevails, suspension is smooth. Okay, now I've turned around, I'm coming back down the hill towards the Hydroline mud, and I want to see what the engine braking is like. So I've got this thing in low range, my foot is off the brake, and let's just see. Wow, and it's creeping really nicely. No freewheeling at all. It's maintained constant engine back pressure, which can't always be said of vehicles with CVTs. Yeah, man, this is really good, really controlled, and that's what you want to see in low range. That it's going to hold its own weight back and not just freewheel you down the hill. And oh boy, we're getting into this mud now. And let's see, if I turn my wheels a little bit, oh no. This is where the weight and size of this puppy really stands out, because I tried to turn my wheels, maybe climb out of the ruts, and it wasn't happening. Oh no! Oh man, oh man, oh man, come on, come on, come on. Ah, Defender, wow. So I've been running through there all day today, or I've run through a few times, and I think I was digging out those ruts, so it was belly dragging there and struggling a little bit, but I made it out. Nice job, Can-Am. So yeah, I'm certainly comfortable saying that if you do want to load this thing up with some folks and then hit a fun trail at high speeds, you absolutely can. You're not going to be wanting for suspension or for power. And then, yeah, I've already mentioned that the turning radius is bad. Sure, that is true. But when you're doing this on more wide open trails at speed, you don't really notice that aspect of it, which is nice. Now, talking about some other features which are just fun and convenient. First of all, I do have a windshield wiper up here with a built-in sprayer, and I did get some mud on my windshield, so I can reach up there and spray it right off. I don't even have to get out. I do appreciate that. I also have fully powered windows here, so if I want to open that up and let some air through, I can do that. I can also open up my passenger side window from here, and then the rear windows are actually wind-up windows. Still nice to have those windows, and again, real glass, automotive style glass, so it's not like it's plastic everywhere. And then when it comes to the windshield, this is the manual tip-out windshield. So there's a vent setting, which is just sort of, a little bit open. And then there's a fully open setting where the windshield just lifts right up and allows you, once again, to have more of that open cab feel. So yeah, all of that comfort stuff is really quite good here. And this is a work machine, so if you're spending all day long in it, sometimes you might want windows open, windows closed, it depends on what the temp is, what the situation is. So this is giving you a lot of options, which I like. Now on the noise front, the engine is actually pretty quiet, and this is a funny thing with these big units. One of the reasons is because it's just so much further behind me. It's way back there, so it just doesn't seem as loud, because unlike some side-by-sides where you're almost sitting on the engine, yeah, I just feel physically so far removed from it. So that's one of the reasons it's quiet. It's also just kind of a muted exhaust note, which I like. So the positive, I would say, is the engine sound. It's really not bad here. The negative when it comes to sound, there's a lot of squeaks and rattles in here. The handle for that windshield is one thing I've noticed. It's rattling all over the place. There's some squeaks coming out of the back that I can't identify. I'll shut up for a second and just let you listen to some cab sound. So yeah, granted that's at higher speeds, but no doubt there's some squeaks and rattles that are coming through here. And when you do have a full cab and you want it to be quiet, yeah, those things really can stick out. So honestly, for the fun factor, I'm impressed by this Can-Am. It was better than I expected it to be considering its size. But now we got to put the work factor to the test. So let's go load up some rubber mats. And now it's time to move some weight, folks. But before we do that, let me address this. Yes, I took my helmet off. This is the kind of vehicle, especially when you have a full cab, where yeah, helmet becomes a little bit less important. I don't want to misspeak here. If you are riding hard, if you're doing anything that you would consider trail riding or recreational riding, I recommend a helmet. That's why I wore it when I was really ripping down the trails. But now I've got weight in the back. I'm going to be cruising around slowly. Plus I have the full cab, so I don't have to worry about branches whipping me in the face or taking bugs in the mouth, anything like that. So there's no doubt that when you get a cab, again, I'm not going to say a helmet isn't necessary, because a lot of the times it still is, but when you're just around your own property, slowly cruising, you can afford to take your lid off. So yeah, let's take off now, see how this thing actually feels. So I've got it in low range, and I've got it down in work mode, 4-wheel drive. Here we go. So the rubber mats you saw us load up, they're 97 pounds a piece, and we put 10 of them in. So we got 970 pounds in the bed of this thing right now, plus 2 occupants up here in the front seat. So we're not over the payload rating, but we're not too far from it, and we're almost at the bed load rating back there. Now, first of all, turn, baby, turn, come on. So I've already mentioned the turning radius isn't great. With the weight in the back, it feels like maybe it got a little worse too, because my nose is sitting kind of tall, my rear end is sitting pretty low down to the ground, so there's a bit less weight on my steering wheels. However, just in cruising around on the trail here, it doesn't feel sketchy. My steering wheel doesn't feel extremely light. It never feels like I'm out of control. It feels like I do have total control of this thing, which is nice. Then when it comes to suspension, there's still a little bit left. I'm doing 15 miles per hour right now. We're about to hit this rock. Yeah, and like I didn't bottom it out, and that's saying something, again, considering how heavy that load is in the back end. Now I wouldn't want to go much faster than this, and I am in low range, so that's helping me limit the speeds, but yeah, 15 miles per hour-ish feels comfortable. And then I feel more body roll, you know, just because the weight's back there, so it's rolling into the corners a little more. And here comes an aggressive stop. Let's see how the brakes feel. There goes all the camera equipment in the back, but actually the brakes felt pretty decent even with the weight. So I gotta tell you guys, when we loaded the bed up and I just looked at the Defender, I said, it doesn't look great. It looks like the butt is dragging and the nose is high up in the air. So I was expecting it to feel a lot sketchier, but from in here, it feels okay. Plenty of power. Like I said, the handling is as good as I expect it to be. I'm not gonna say you forget the loads back there. It's absolutely loaded down, but it is handling this weight just like I would want it to. Now there's one thing I want to change right now, and that is to come out of work mode. And let's just go to standard mode. So now I'm in low. You see, and this is an interesting thing. Work mode essentially dulls the throttle response. So it allows you to be a little more fine with the throttle. When you're backing into a trailer, when you're maneuvering around buildings and things you want to be careful around, work mode is great. But then out here on an open trail, I feel like I'm just digging my foot so far into the accelerator before I get the power I want. Whereas in normal mode, yeah, the power's right there and it actually feels better. So I guess I don't mind that mode. I just don't think work mode is maybe the best name for it. Kawasaki has a similar mode. They call it low power mode. Maybe that's a better name, I don't know. But yes, don't think of work mode as, oh, I've got a heavy load in my bed, I better put it in work mode. I think of work mode as fine handling mode or fine maneuverability mode, rather than just general all-purpose out on the trail, load back there, work mode. So just something to keep in mind with how work mode operates. So with a fully loaded dump bed, I'd say this Defender is absolutely doing its job. And with an overall load rating at around 1,600 pounds, yeah, the fact is you can load your bed up and then still fit 2 or 3 adults up here in the cab, and you're not over that payload rating. And that's always nice when you can actually haul both the people and stuff you need to and actually not be exceeding those ratings. So yeah, overall on the hard work front, Defender's doing great. So folks, you saw we loaded all that rubber by hand and I'm starting to get hot. Well, luckily we have full HVAC here. Now I haven't been running it for the sake of the microphones, but I want to show you guys it. So there's your power button right there. And you control it all using this one knob. So press the knob, that's going to give you cool, auto, or heat. Today we want cool. And then you have low, medium, and high on the fan. And the high really blows. We'll just keep it on low again, once again, for the sake of the noise. And then you're set, and then you can set your temp with that knob there. So it's not confusing to figure it out, and after you use this once or twice, you get it intuitively. I just don't know why Can-Am didn't give me 2 or even 3 knobs. Just give me a temperature and a fan knob, Can-Am. Why do I have to use the same button to get through all of those settings? I just feel like it's overcomplicated for no good reason. Although I do know one of the reasons, and that is when HVAC was added to this generation of Defender, it was done after the fact. It was already a machine that was rolling off the line, and then the Can-Am engineer said, how do we add in air conditioning and heating? And I know that because because Can-Am just revealed the brand new Defender, and they literally said that that thing was designed around the HVAC system, that the first thing they did was let's design HVAC and then we'll build the machine around it. So I expect that the new Defender will be slightly more intuitive when it comes to its HVAC settings because of that. But yeah, when it comes to this one, it works fine. I just don't like the actual knobs. And then yeah, talking about the vents, I mean, I do get quite a few vents here. You can rotate them and aim them, so I can point them directly at my face, which I like. Up in front of me here, you do get defrost vents, so this isn't really an issue today, but if you needed to get the cold off your windshield or get the condensation off there, you can use the defrost, which is nice too. And right now they're just on low, but honestly, it's some seriously cold air blowing on me right now. I've been using this thing all day, and today's actually not even that hot, but we've been out here on some real hot days, and I have nothing but good things to say about the HVAC. In fact, after 5-10 minutes of cruising around with this thing blasting on high, I've had to turn it down more than once. And that is a testament to the system, but also to the sealing in this cab. There's just so many of these rubber gaskets everywhere, so they're just not allowing air to escape. And again, that's what you want. For overall efficiency, I want to heat or cool the cab, and then I want to keep that hot or cold air in. So yeah, I have no complaints on the HVAC besides the knobs. I wish the controls were better, but when it comes to how it actually works, it does a great job. Now, a few other things I can mention about ergonomics in here. First of all, I do got the steering wheel that tilts. I really do like that. And actually, this is always a funny setting to put it up straight like this, kind of feel like a city bus driver. However, I like that wheels go this far up for ingress, egress, because this is the kind of vehicle you might be getting in and out of all day long constantly. Jump out, do a job, jump back in. And when the wheel goes like this, it's right up out of the way. So that's kind of nice. And yeah, at slow speeds, it's fine to handle. And then I also have adjustment of my seat. So I get a few inches of adjustability here. I mean, I stand at 6'2", and look at all the space I have in here. So basically any size rider is going to find an ergonomic position here that's gonna suit them. Another thing are the seats. They're comfortable, man. These are nice and plush. I sink nicely into them. Firm enough though that, yeah, I'm not squishing all over the place. So nice job on the foam and on the seats here too, Can-Am. After cruising around all day today, no complaints on interior comfort. Okay folks, now it is time for the top speed run. So I've got it in normal mode, I've got the HVAC shut off, and I'm just in two-wheel drive. We'll stick that on there. Got a nice empty road. Yep, here we go, taking off in 3, 2, 1. Doggies, well, you saw it there, folks. 66 miles per hour, and no, that didn't feel limited at all. That was felt like a true top speed at 66 miles per hour, which I think for such a big unit, it does feel crazy, but for something like this, it's a good top speed, because this is the kind of vehicle where I can envision it living on a ranch or on a farm. And if you're actually covering long distances, I'm not sure you're going to be going right at top speed, but yeah, you might be running at 50 or 55 miles per hour consistently. So nice to see such a high top speed, even for such a big model. At this point in the video, I have to tell you, this Can-Am Defender has been working well for us, but the more I ride in it and drive it, the more I feel like there's just some little quality and durability issues that shouldn't be here. For example, these vents can really get stiff and a little bit hard to turn, and quite frankly, they just feel cheap. They just feel like really chintzy, cheap plastic. So part of that is just subjective, that I don't like the way they feel, but they are objectively hard to twist, and it feels like there's some sand or something in there making them a little tougher. Now the next thing is the shifter. The shifter feel here is just rubbery, absolutely rubbery. There's no real defined gates to it. More than once today I thought I was in high and I wasn't actually in high, and then you get that grinding sound. So yeah, the shifter, and then sometimes when you're going up into park, it's not easy to get into park, it's not easy to get out of park. Everything about the shifter just doesn't feel very good. And again, that makes the whole machine just kind of feel cheap. Now this is something Can-Am knows about, because with the new Defender, they talked a lot about improved shifter feel. So this is something they've gotten lots of feedback on. At least they're aware of it. At least in the new Defender, it should be fixed. But here in this Defender, yeah, it's just a really soft, squishy shifter. So yeah, like I said, I've really been liking it while I've been out riding it and working with it, but all these little things have kind of added up to give me a bit of a leery feeling when it comes to reliability. These things just don't make you feel confident about a machine like this. Well folks, we are coming to the end of this day, and I gotta tell you that this Forest school bus didn't disappoint. It did the work well when it was fully loaded, and I think what I was most surprised about was how much fun it is when you absolutely unleash it on a trail. But with all of that in mind, I do have to drop the price on you. Here in Canada, this model is gonna sell for north of 40 grand. So it's pretty dang good at what it does, but it's not gonna come cheap. Yeah, folks, that's it for this one. Now, please drop in the comments. Let me know what you think of this Can-Am Defender Max Limited and everything you've seen in this video. And then as always, make sure you hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member of our channel, and then come right back here to TK Power Sports to see what we're testing next. See ya.